to a gentle practice this morning that's focused on our spine. So there's a quote by Joseph Pilates that says, "You are only as young as your spine is flexible." So I'm going to let that settle in for just a moment. You are only as young as your spine is flexible. A flexible spine is a flexible mind, says Yogi Gahana. So the spine, according to yogis, is the most important channel in the body. It's the foundation of our entire existence. The majority of the nourishment that our brain receives comes from the movement of our spine. So think about this for a moment. You can live without an arm or a leg. You cannot live without your spine. The spine is the core of everything. Everything is suspended to the spine. It is the infrastructure of the body. So unfortunately, in our current situation, we spend on an average 16 hours of our day in a seated position. And just from an anatomical perspective, when we're seated, the pressure of gravity puts compression on our spine. So that's a problem. Sitting to our spine is like hard candy to our teeth. So again, I want you to just kind of consider these things for a few moments. And then I also want to consider, what can we do about it? What can we do about that? So our bodies are indeed meant for movement. And you've heard me say this many times before, but movement is the medicine. So let's take care of our bodies, because our bodies are the place in which we live. And it's the only place in which we live. So welcome to our practice this morning. We are literally going to move our spine in all directions, and I hope that as we do that simple thing, moving our spines, moving our body, and focusing on our breath, then our experience for the rest of our day will be one that really feels a little bit more energetic and a little bit more nourished from the inside out. So all you really need this morning is your mat, if you have one. I have a cushion to help elevate my hips a little bit, and your own body and your own breath. So join me. Take a moment to come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Again, if seated is not comfortable for you right now, then go ahead and lay down on your mat. I want us to just really tune into the experience of moving our body this morning, noticing and observing our breath as we do exactly that. And all of it without any judgment, without any real expectation, and without any competition. So go ahead and close your eyes. Allow yourself to find your way into an easy seated pose or laying on your mat. And then bring some alignment into your body. Let's settle our rib cage over our hips. Let's take a moment to lift those shoulders up to the ears. Release those shoulder blades down the back. Let the tips of the shoulder blades move towards the back pockets. Lengthen that spine and soften the chin just a tiny bit so that there's no creases in the back of the neck. Keeping those eyes softly closed or the gaze soft. Take a moment to tune in to the sensation of your body. In this very first and very simple posture, simply notice. Notice the experience of your body. Notice where you might be feeling tension, where there's tightness, perhaps where there's pain or discomfort. Simply come to an awareness of that experience in your body right now. So if we view yoga as the cultivation of attention, then what are we attending to? So in this moment, attending to that physical sensation, a noticing, a witnessing, an observing. No need to judge, simply notice. And then as you feel ready, switch your focus and your attention and your awareness to your breathing. Notice each inhalation as it enters the body and each exhalation as it leaves the body. We know from experience that we have the capacity capacity to reduce our levels of anxiety, stress, worry, concern, simply by changing our breath. So change that breath just a little bit now. Think about drawing the breath a little bit deeper into the body, inhaling, and then exhaling and releasing. So not a big change, simply deepening of the inhale and a lengthening of the exhale. Just keep that cycle going and inhaling nice and deep and exhaling full and complete. So bringing our awareness and our focus and our attention back to how we entered into our practice. You are only as young as your spine is flexible. So lengthen the spine. Begin to attune to this sacred channel. And where your mind goes, your energy flows. So imagine now your spine is a straw. And as you breathe, feel the air pull up the length of the spine to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, feel an extended, slow release, one vertebrae at a time down the length of your spine. Each subsequent inhale, feel the rise of the spine. And with each exhale, feel as if you are imprinting your spinal bones into clay. With each breath, settle yourself deeper into yourself. Feel the gentle rise of the spine on the inhale, and on the exhale, that's sinking deeper into yourself. Good. One more nice, deep, refreshing breath, drawing it deeply into the body, inhaling and exhaling. Open our eyes. Wonderful. So let's begin just moving the spine. So the goal for our practice today, if there's a goal at all, will be to move our spine in all directions through all of its ranges of motions. So we're going to continue to practice seated. So let's switch up the cross of our legs. So now go to a way in which it feels a little bit uncomfortable. One of these days I'm actually going to start in that position, but not today. Good. So coming into a simple cross-legged pose. Again, bringing your heart now over your hips, your head over your heart. Let's take a moment to lift those shoulders up and roll them back and down. Let's do that a few times because that would feel really good. Inhale up and exhale back and down. Beautiful. Inhale up and exhale back and down. A couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Allow your hands to rest on your thighs. Let's move through flexion and extension. So as we exhale now, let's think about tucking that tailbone, rounding the back, and tucking the chin. Inhaling, lifting up in our cow pose. Exhaling, tucking and rounding in our cat pose. Good, just keep that going. Inhaling, opening. Exhale, tucking and rounding. Awesome. Inhale, opening. And exhale, closing. Follow your breath. You can move slower. You can move more quickly, depending on how you're feeling the tension and tightness in your body and your spine. Awesome. Couple more times. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. Very nice. Let's hold right here in this cat pose. So let's rest our hands on our shins. Kind of like put a little bit of tension there and then lean back. It's like you're pressing your shins into your hands and you're pressing your spine towards the space behind you. Good. A little bit of isometric stretch here, rounding out that spine. Good. Slowly come back, seated nice and let's inhale, floating our hands up. And on the exhale, right hand comes down. Let's reach up and then let's hinge to the side, lateral movement. Inhale up and exhale, hinging to the side. Inhale up, softening that right elbow. Exhale, hinging to the side. Good. Inhaling up and exhale, hinge. Hold right here. Maybe tiptoe those right fingers a little bit further. Maybe extend the body a little bit further if it feels all right. Take a moment to look up past that bicep. Awesome. Good. Press into that right hand. Inhale up. Let's exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Beautiful. Inhale all the way up. Float that left hand down. Now reach up with the right. Exhale, hinge to the side and inhale up. Kind of an ebb and flow. Exhale to the side and inhale up. And exhale. And inhale. One last time. Exhale and hold. Maybe tiptoe those fingers out. Maybe reach a little bit more. Take a moment to look up past the inside of that bicep. Slowly come back up. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Very nice. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, float the hands down. Good. I want you to roll those shoulders up, back and down. Give yourself a little bit of a chest expansion here. Draw those shoulder blades together in the back of the body. Good. Press that heart forward. And then bring your hands and interlace them in front of you. Now go ahead and invert, press the hands forward, and as you exhale, round out that spine, tucking the chin towards the chest. And as you inhale, bringing the hands towards the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, press that forward, rounding out that spine. Bring the hands towards the chest, inhale. And last time, exhale, hold right here, soften the shoulders, round out that spine. Keeping the hands where they are, sit up nice and tall, extend the arms over the head, soften and relax the shoulders. So we're going to add in a little rotation. So we want the spine as long as we can make it, rising up through the crown of the head and gently turning to the left. Good, so not a really big movement. Very nice. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, center, release, float the hands down, and one more time. Tenting the fingers, drawing those shoulder blades together on the back, sending the heart forward, and breathing. Very nice. Now bringing the hands in front, interlace them with the opposite index finger on top. Invert, press forward, round out the spine, relax the shoulders. Exhale. Inhale, bring the hands in, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, press that forward. Inhale, bring the hands in, squeeze those shoulder blades. Exhale, press that forward, hold for a moment. Sitting up nice and tall, extend those arms up over the head, soften the shoulders. Good. Continue to lengthen the spine, inhaling, exhaling that gentle rotation. Very nice. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, center. Release. This time bring the hands right behind the hips. Point the fingers towards the glutes. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and open up across the front of the body. Very nice. Slowly release. We're going to go ahead and bring those legs bent in front of us for a moment. So I'm still sitting on my cushion to elevate my hips, bring my body into better alignment. So I'm going to rest my hands on my thighs, roll the shoulders back and down, begin to slide those heels forward, bringing my belly connected to my thighs as I find my way into my seated forward fold, which is beautiful stretch for the calves, for the hamstrings, but it's a release for the low back. So awesome for that spinal health as well. We're going to stay here just a few breaths, kind of checking it out this morning before we move through the rest of our practice. Again, taking note of how our bodies feel in this moment without a need to push ourselves too far.
simply be intuitive and listen to our own bodies here. Good, one more breath. And then slowly, keeping your chin tucked, think about coming up, nice and slow. We're gonna keep that right leg extended. We're gonna tuck that left foot in. Take your hands over to the sides of your body, lengthen your spine, tuck your tummy, inhale, and as you exhale, hinging at the hips, tiptoe the fingers forward. So the hands can rest on the shin, the hands can be beside, or if you have the range of motion to reach for that foot while keeping the spine nice and long, go ahead and do that. So we're going to stay for a couple of breaths here, letting that stretch settle into the body, noticing our breath. Again, slowly rising up. Let's go ahead and rest that forearm on the thigh. Take that left hand to your hip. I want you to turn, rotating shoulders and rib cage to the side. Now, if it's all right, you can take that left arm up. And if it's all right, you can hinge a little bit. So listening to your own body, finding your own way to move your spine this morning. Notice what happens with the breath. If the breath, it no longer stays smooth and even, soften the pose. Come back a little bit. Good. Now inhale up and exhale, bringing that left hand behind your hip, right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale, lengthen, and add that rotation, gently turning. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, rotate to center. Let's switch that up. Left leg extends. Right foot tucks to the inside of the inner thigh. Again, checking in with your foundation, making sure that that left foot is flexed, rolling the shoulders back, lengthening the spine, hinging at your hips now, tiptoeing those fingers forward, finding your place in this stretch. Maybe you can reach the sole of your foot, but perhaps the hands are just resting on the shin. Good. Continue to focus on your back, on your spine, through our movements this morning. How is it feeling? Hopefully the result, as we move through all of its ranges of motions, is more vitality, more energy. Where the mind goes, the energy flows. Again, slowly rising up. I forgot what we did next. Take that hand behind your back. Let's come into a rotation. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, turn. Good. If I missed something along the way and you remember it, you go ahead and do it. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. It's like wringing out our organs, but it's like wringing out our spine as well when we come into rotation. Beautiful sensation in the body. Good. Inhale up, exhale all the way back. Oh, I do remember now. Rest that left forearm on the thigh, right hand to the hip. Rotate, turn the shoulders and the rib cage. And maybe lift that right arm up. Perhaps reaching that arm bicep over the ear to find a different stretch, a different lengthening along the side body. Good. Inhale up, and we're just going to float that hand down, seeing as we already did that rotation. All right, let's shift. So let's come into tabletop position. Again, we're going to move our spine through flexion and extension in cat and cow. So let's start just with our basic cat and cow. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Lift the hips, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Inhale, tuck the tailbone around the back, tuck the chin. Exhale. A couple of times just to get into the movement pattern and the connection with your breath. So inhaling up and exhaling back into cat pose. Inhaling up into cow, exhaling back into cat. And let's hold right here. See if you can think about just moving your hips. So circling your hips, lower part of your spine, circling just the hips, a few times one direction, and then switch and a few times the other direction. See how much focus that takes, just to move the hips. Awesome. Dancing cat. Very nice. Okay, so take your hands just a little bit forward. Let's add in a little bit more joint movement. So as we come forward, we're gonna reach our chest towards that right elbow, towards the left elbow, hip towards the left heel, the right heel. So see how much movement you can bring into those joints and into the body. Remember, movement is medicine. The body is built for movement. Good, just keep that going at your own pace. A few rotations one direction. And when you're ready, go the opposite direction. So start over on the left and then the right, right heel, left heel. Incorporate your breath as you move. Awesome, couple more. And one more time. Back to center. Let's bring our big toes together, take those knees wide. Send the hips back and the hands forward. As we come into this child's pose again, flexion for the spine, letting that head fall down in between the biceps. Think about softening here. So softening the body and softening the breath. Remember, through our practice, we want to be friendly to our bodies. In particular, we want to be friendly to our joints. So just softening, releasing, relaxing, checking in with the body, checking in with the breath. Maybe give your head just a gentle movement side to side, checking with the neck. Those vertebrae make up part of your spine. Good, and then slowly coming up. And we're going to take our hands just a little bit forward. So we're going to move just a little bit different through our heat series this morning. As we inhale, we're going to come forward, hold our modified plank, but as we exhale, we're going to tuck our chin, round out our spine, and send our hips back to our heels. So it's a combination of our heat series and a little cat and cow. So we're going to inhale forward, we're going to pause, we're going to tuck and round out that spine, sending the hips back towards the heels. Good. Looking at the hands, inhaling forward, tucking the chin, rounding out that spine, sending the hips back towards the heels. One more time, inhaling forward, tucking that chin, rounding out the spine, sending the hips back towards the heels. Beautiful. Looking at your hands, inhaling forward, tucking those elbows in tight, bringing the heart forward. Hinge at the elbows, lower yourself down with control onto your mat. And let's take the hands up to the side. So we come into our first little back bending posture. So tenting the fingertips on the floor, lift your forehead and your chest. Relax your shoulders, press into your feet, engage the muscles of the legs, tuck that tummy. Good. So the spine also needs support from the muscles. So we want to make sure that the muscles on the back side of the body are strong. So our back bending posture, strengthen the muscles on the back as they stretch the muscles on the front side of the body. Good, breathe. Inhaling, exhaling. Now holding the gaze and the chest lifted, bring the heels of the hands towards your rib cage. Point the elbows towards the back of the room. Inhaling, exhaling all the way back to child's pose. Big stretch here. Reach the fingers forward. Reach the hips back. Let the head fall down in between those biceps. Inhale and exhale. Good. Look at your hands. Let's inhale again, coming forward, tucking those elbows, send the heart forward. Hinge at the elbows, lower all the way down with control. bring your forearms onto the mat for Sphinx pose. So draw the shoulders away from the ears, spread your fingers out wide. Press into the feet, draw the elbows towards the hips, and then just steady your gaze forward. And as we hold this Sphinx posture, I want you to think for a moment about your neck. Make sure there's no wrinkles in the neck, no creases. The neck is simply an extension of the spine. Think about all of that energy coming into the body this morning. Beautiful little back bend. And slowly release. Bring the heels of the hands by your ribs. Inhale and then exhale all the way back into your child's pose. Again, a nice big stretch here. Let's look at the hands. Inhale forward, tuck the elbows, slide the heart forward, hinge at the elbows, lower down. We're going to keep our hands where they are now for our cobra pose. Let's lift the gaze looking forward. Lift the chest. Draw the heels of the hands back towards the hips. Again, activate the legs. Back bends come from our leg strength. So press into the tops of our feet. Beautiful. Little back bend. Cobra pose. One more inhale. And exhale to child's pose. Again, big stretch here. From your child's pose now, looking at your hands, reach your hands as far forward as you can. Come to your knees. Curl your toes. Lift your knees. Take your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Lifting and lowering those heels, stretching the calves, stretching the hamstrings. Let's press that mat forward and let's lean back into our hips and our thighs. So downward facing dog, a beautiful posture for the backside of our body. Other range of motion or other thing we want to pay attention to with our spine is making sure that we take time to invert it. Turn it upside down and have gravity work in our favor. So our inverted postures like downward facing dog or forward fold give us a gentle opportunity to invert that spine. To keep lifting and lowering those heels, spreading those fingers out nice and wide, maybe shift those hips a little bit side to side. Check in with how your back is feeling this morning. Awesome. Now together, let's look at our hands and inhale forward. So I want to incorporate that cat stretch again. So as we go back to downward facing dog, tuck the chin, round out the spine, exhale, all the way back downward facing dog. Look at your hands, inhale forward in your plank. Tuck your chin, round out your spine, send the hips back, downward facing dog. One more time, inhaling forward, tucking that chin, round out that thoracic spine all the way back, downward facing dog, big exhale. Looking at your hands now, walk your feet to meet your hands in your first forward fold. Soften the knees, rest the belly on the thighs to protect that low back. Tuck your chin and let gravity take over here. So tune into your breathing, tune into the sensation of your body. Go ahead and grasp opposite elbows and let your head be framed within your arms. So softness in the body, softness in the breath. Let the body just hang here. Gently swaying side to side or forward and back. Whatever feels good. Feels right in your body. We're going to release our hands to the floor, forward fold. Take a moment to turn that head gently side to side. Bring a little bit of gentle movement here. Nod your head yes. Shake your head gently no. And then bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen. Lengthen the calves, the hamstrings. Lengthen the back. Exhale, softening and releasing forward fold. And then bending and inhaling, rising up. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. and exhale. And hands by our sides. So from the top of our mat, stepping to the long side of our mat and taking our feet out nice and wide. Again, we're going to incorporate more movement, more breath. So let's begin with pointing the toes out to the sides, taking those arms up, spreading the fingers out, finding our 5-point star. So energize through the fingers, through the crown of the head, down through the soles of the feet. Take a big breath, inhaling here, exhaling, hinging at the hips, gathering everything up, and then reaching it up to the ceiling or the sky, exhaling, hinging, rounding, inhaling, rising. Good, exhaling, big breath, inhaling up, and exhaling down. Couple more times, inhaling up, and exhaling down. Last one, inhaling up. We call these sunflowers, exhaling down. Beautiful, inhale up, and this time bring your hands to your heart center. Bring your hands onto your hips and turn your toes forward. So from here, let's take our hands up over our head and imagine we're holding a nice big beach ball. Soften and relax the shoulders. So with that beach ball, we're going to take it over to the right. We're going to bend that right knee and we're going to drag that beach ball along the floor and over to the left side and all the way up to center, and then switch and go back the other way. So keep holding onto that beach ball, reaching up over to the right, to the left, all the way up to center, back, left, and right, and up to center. One more time, over to the right, over to the left, all the way up to center, back to the left, to the right, all the way up to center. Bring the palms of your hands together. Bring your hands to your heart center. And exhale. Rest your hands on your hips and turn your toes forward. Again, find all of the length in your spine, like someone has a string attached to the crown of your head, and you're rising up, reaching up through the crown of your head as you press down through the soles of your feet. Lift the shoulders up. Release those shoulder blades down the back. Tuck that tummy in. Hinge at the hips, slowly bringing the body forward. Hands come down to the floor, wrists under the shoulders. So let's just gently rock here, forward onto the balls of the feet and then back onto our heels. Nice and gentle. Checking in with the body, noticing the breath, and focusing on just this movement and just this moment. Good, let's come to rest. Wrists under the shoulders. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. And then think about deepening this a little bit. Gently drawing the crown of the head towards the floor as we walk our hands in between our feet. Bending the elbows perhaps. Letting the weight of gravity gently draw us deeper into this posture. Standing straddle. So continuing to be aware of our knees, keeping a little softness in the knees, keeping those quads engaged. Letting that head hang down. Again, gently turning side to side here. Neck nice and relaxed and loose. Very nice. Now walk your hands back. Wrists are underneath our shoulders. Draw those shoulders away from our ears. Check in with your foundation. Let's bring our right hand underneath our chin. Left hand onto our left hip. Lengthening our spine, inhaling, and a gentle turn to the left, exhaling. So we're not going to raise our hand today. We just really want to think about rotating that spine. Slowly come back to center. Place the left hand down, right hand on the hip. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, just a little turn. So just kind of checking out that rotation in our body. Come back to center. Right hand underneath the chin. Left hand onto the hip. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, exhale, turn. Slowly come back to center. Changing one more time. Right hand on the hip. Lengthen the spine. Exhale and turn. Slowly come back to center. Wrists underneath the shoulders, shoulders away from the ears. Let's soften the knees, heel toe in a tiny bit. And then let's walk our fingers around our forward foot. Wiggling that right heel back till we come into a nice low lunge. Again, think about lengthening that spine by reaching the crown of the head forward, reaching the heel back, lengthening the tailbone towards the back of the room. Bring that right knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and on the exhale, sweep the arms back. So the thumbs are facing the back and the heart is open. Beautiful. Inhale up. Exhale, frame that forward foot, shift back so we get that calf and hamstring stretch. Good. Slowly roll onto the sole of that left foot. Wiggle it back so the ankle is underneath the knee. Now kick that right shin back behind you and inhale up into our modified warrior two. So in our modified warrior two, the hips are facing the long side of the mat. The arms are at shoulder height, reaching and extending. Good. Inhale, lift the hands and lift the gaze. Exhale, hands float back to shoulder height. Inhale up and exhale down. One more time. Inhale up and exhale down. Beautiful. Let's bring that right hand onto that right thigh. Turn the left hand over. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, warrior two. Let's bring our hands to the long side of our mat and walk our hands till our right hand is at the back of our mat, and we extend that left leg long so that right wrist is underneath our right shoulder, left hand on our left hip. Let's take that arm out wide to the side and sweep bicep over the ears. I'm going to come up onto my fingertips just to find steadiness and ease in the posture. Good, and then slowly walking the hands all the way to the front of the mat, turning that right leg back, coming back into your low lunge, stepping that left foot to the back of the mat. Good, take a moment or two for a nice deep breath in your downward facing dog. Looking at our hands, let's inhale, come forward in our plank. Let's tuck our chin, round out our spine in our cat pose back to downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling forward, tucking that chin, rounding out that spine, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's look at our hands and walk our feet to meet our hands in forward fold. Soften and release. Tuck that chin. Let the belly rest on the thighs. Let that head hang down. Gently turn the head side to side. Good, breathe. Maybe bring the hands to opposite elbows again. Let that head be framed within the arms. One last breath. Slowly release the hands to the floor. Hands on your shins, nice flat back, looking forward. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Step your right foot back into your low lunge. And this time walk to the long side of your mat so you come into your standing straddle. Hinge at your hips, release down into your forward fold, wide-legged. Again, letting that tension spill off the backside of your body, aided by gravity. Check out the shoulders, check out the neck. Good. Soften the knees. Heel toe in a tiny bit. This time walk your fingers around your back foot or your right foot, facing the back of your mat, coming into your low lunge. Lengthen forward through the crown of your head, back through your heel. Extend the tailbone to the back of the room, and then lower that knee. Inhale up, and exhale and open. Thumbs move back and heart moves forward. Good. Inhale up, exhale, frame that forward foot, shifting back into your modified pyramid. Get that calf and hamstring stretch. Good. Roll forward onto the sole of that just a little bit so that I keep that nice alignment. Kick that left shin back behind you and come up into your modified warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Now extend energetically through the fingers, letting that gaze be past that middle right finger. Now inhale up, look up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale up and exhale, warrior two. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, warrior two, hold. Lower that left hand, turn the right hand over, reverse your warrior, open up through that rib cage. And exhale, warrior two. Bring the hands to the long side, walking until that left hand is underneath your left shoulder. Stand that right leg long. Come up onto my fingertips again. Take your right arm out to the side, sweep bicep over the ear if you like. Really find that length along that side body. Good. Slowly bring the hands again, long side of your mat, walking back around that right foot. Coming into your low lunge. From your low lunge, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, maybe out through an open mouth, release the jaw, letting go breath. Look at the hands, inhale forward in your plank, tuck the chin, round out that spine, exhale, downward facing dog. Look at the hands, inhale forward in your plank, tuck that chin, round out your spine, downward facing dog. One last time. Inhale forward in your plank, tuck your chin, round out that spine, and exhale, downward facing dog. Look at your hands and walk your feet to meet your hands for your forward fold. Soften, release, relax, let go. Dangle here for a moment in your ragdoll. Breathing. Letting go tension off the back side of the body. You know, your knees can be as bent as you need them to be so that you feel like your back is supported. Lower your hands to the floor. Hands on the shins, flat back. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling again, forward fold. This time stepping that left foot back into your low lunge, walking through your standing straddle. Maybe in this standing straddle, walking the hands forward, letting that head fall down in between the biceps, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, getting that nice stretch. Knees are a little bit soft. Slowly walk your hands back, nice half lift, soften the knees, heel toe in a bit, walk the fingers around that forward foot, and from here, bring your right knee down, left leg back, and find your way into your child's pose, hips way back and hands way forward. Letting that head once again come down in between the biceps. Maybe this time it would feel really good to bring your hands down by your heels. Really find that spinal flexion in the body. A little bit of a gentle inversion in your child's pose here. And then when you're ready, take your hands forward. So let's try to keep our legs somewhat together and our belly resting on those thighs, hips is back as far as we can, as is comfortable for us. Now let's walk our fingers over to the right side of the mat and feel that stretch along the left side body. Keep your left hand where it is. Maybe bring that right hand down to the sole of that right foot. Opening up through that left rib cage. Again, just checking with the neck. Everything stays relaxed and loose. Breathe into that space in the ribs. ready, walk your hands over to the left side. Keep your right hand where it is. Left hand can come to the sole of that left foot. Just experiment a little bit with increasing the length on the right side. Let the breath move into that space and expand the ribs. Stretch those intercostal muscles. Help to create a little bit more space in that container that is your ribs. And let's slowly walk back to center. Come up to a tabletop position. From that tabletop position, we're going to take our left hand and reach it high to the sky. Let the gaze follow. Exhale, weaving that underneath that right armpit so that the shoulder comes down. Tiptoe the fingers to the top of the mat, if that feels all right, for thread the needle. And then once again, just checking in, how does it feel? Shall I go deeper or shall I back off? What is the quality of your breath in the posture? Slowly slide that right hand down, back, press into that right hand. I'm going to just spin around so that I can face you. Now, let's take that right hand high to the sky, weave through underneath that left armpit, shoulder resting on the mat, tiptoeing the left hand forward if that feels all right. And then organizing, arranging, softening the shoulders, softening the breath. Slowly bring that left hand underneath, press up, and from here, sit back onto the heels. Take your hands to the side, and let's sweep those legs forward. And soles of the feet together, a little bit of a hip opening before we transition down onto our backs. Soles of the feet together, maybe elbows at those inner thighs for a little bit of pressure to gently open up. Draw that body forward. Hinging at the hips, still keeping lots of length in that spine. Very nice. Just keep breathing right here. Gentle hip opening. Good. We're going to keep the soles of the feet together. We're going to move those feet just a little bit forward so that we shift that stretch maybe a little bit more inner thighs. Again, letting the body settle down in between the thighs while still extending the heart towards the feet. Perhaps there's a gentle tugging at the low back, so just be mindful. As long as it feels good, as long as it's not causing a painful sensation, let's stay here. Let's really tune into the sensation of our body. Soles of the feet together, we'll slide them just a little bit further forward, trying not to allow them to slide apart. Take the hands underneath the ankles, reach for the tops of those feet, and one more time, settle in and allow gravity a few moments just to work some magic on the hips and on the IT band. And continuing to release that low back. Slowly come all the way up from that. a moment or two just to round out that spine. We're going to take our hands behind our back, shoulders back and down, heel toe your feet out a little bit wider, and then just gently drop the knees from side to side. Windshield wiper, talking those knees, internal and external hip rotation. Just a nice gentle rotation for that low back. Our practice today, we've moved our body through flexion and extension of the spine, through lateral movement, through rotation and inversion. So hopefully as we prepare to settle into those last few postures, the experience of our body and our spine and our mind is a little bit more energetic and a little bit clearer. Spine is the pathway to the mind, and the breath connects the mind to the body. Good. All right. So let's come down onto our backs. Draw those knees gently into the chest. Continue that gentle rocking motion. Maybe lift the head for a moment, tuck the chin. Release that thoracic spine down onto the mat. Feel the weight of the thighs resting on your belly as you gently massage the low back. Hands rest on the knees now. Let's just make some circles. Again, consider what's happening with your breathing, finding a way to keep it smooth and steady. We're going to change directions now, taking those knees in the opposite direction. Awesome. Let's lower the feet down onto the mat, bridge pose. Walk the fingers towards the heels, lift up, tuck those shoulder blades under the back. That tummy in, inhale, press into the feet. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lift. And exhale, and lower. Very nice. Let's take the arms out wide and the legs out wide, like we're trying to create a star shape on our mat. We're going to take our left ankle, cross it over our right ankle. We're going to take and reach for our left wrist, circle that left wrist, and gently draw that left wrist over to the right side of our mat. This pose has a few different names. I'm going to just call it a crescent pose. Nice side body stretch. So send the breath into that left side body. Good. And then release, finding that star shape on your mat again. Reaching the arms out wide and the legs out wide. Cross that right ankle over the left ankle. Grasp that right wrist and gently draw it over to the left. And just stay here for a few breaths. Slowly extend, arms out wide, legs out wide. Let's bring our hands down by our sides. Bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, but keep the feet wide. Gently drop those knees to the right. Stay for a few breaths. Maybe the gaze shifts to the left. Bring the knees up to center. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the left. Maybe the gaze shifts to the right. Go ahead and turn the palms of my hands open, just to open up the shoulders a little bit. Good. Gently bring those knees up to center. We're going to finish off in constructive rest pose. So constructive rest pose just allows the skeleton and the pelvis to hold the body without there being any muscular tension. So it's like a bit of a reset for the body, which in essence then resets our mind as we move into the balance of our day. So we begin with the knees bent, and you can take your arms out to the side if that's comfortable, or you can cross the arms over the body. So again, that there's no sensation of tension in the body. Close your eyes and give in to the surrender in this moment. Surrender your body into the support of that mat beneath you. Soften the breath. Soften the gaze if the eyes are opened. Soften the body into the mat. Take a moment to visualize the whole length of your spine resting on your mat. From the tip of your tailbone, all along the spine, to the base of your skull, resting on the mat. The body fully supported by the floor beneath it. Now visualize a line of energy running up the front side of the body and then down the back side of the body. Front side of the body, drawing that energy upward, releasing the energy down the back side of the body. Continue to see that energy, perhaps as light, drawing up the front side of the body and down the back side of the body. And as you visualize that energy or that light, see if you can now bring your breath into your focus. Inhaling breath up the front side of the body, exhaling breath down the back side of the body. Just continue with that pattern, inhaling breath and energy up the front side of the body and down the back side of the body. Bring your awareness to your knees and imagine that as your knees are bent, they are actually draped over a hanger, and the hanger is supported by the ceiling. So there's no weight and no work for the legs. Now visualize a river or a stream flowing from your knees down to your hips, or perhaps like a waterfall, gently releasing the tension down the thighs, from the knees to the hips. Let the body in these few moments reset itself. Let the breath and the mind reset themselves. Now visualize a waterfall from the knees to the ankle. The water is cool as it pools beneath your feet. Relaxing the lower legs, the calves, ankles. Now return your awareness to your breathing, noticing that the breath is soft and the breath is smooth and the breath is easy. Let your hands rest lightly by the sides of your body now. And as we end our time together again, you can remain in your final relaxation, however you choose that to be, for as long as you need. I'm going to end our practice with one deep breath. Inhale. Exhaling, hands to our heart center. So today, take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live. Thank you for joining me.